Expectations. Something that can crush a team from the inside out. Something that once you actually have them applied to you as a team can make you different. The Cleveland Cavaliers were 64-18. A dominant regular season by this standard, the best in franchise history. And yet, in another disappointing second round exit in which Donovan Mitchell was seemingly the only player who had shown up to try and compete for their livelihoods, we need to talk about this team and how they failed to meet expectations and what can they even do to try and come back for next year. And when we look at the first player that fell under their expectations, the young point guard Darius Garland must be looked at again. Just even take a look at this play here. Right here, Miles Turner basically tries to take away the possible bounce pass, but even on the comeback, Nembhard loses sight. Garland, this is a perfect kick out to Mitchell, but instead, Garland settles for this ugly mid-range pull-up that quite frankly does not work out. And again, they try and run the pick and roll action, get the wide open three. That's a shot you need to make. Frankly, Darius Garland has time in and time out for the playoffs procedurally dropped. This is where things get ugly for Garland, where seemingly, the bag, the handle, all of these things that Garland is, praised for don't seem to matter when you need them the most. But when you just look at Garland in a lot of these actions, he's struggling, and part of it is because, he's taking these out of rhythm shots, or he's just not being aggressive enough. Again, just notice the first bucket he made in the game was with 4 minutes left in the first. We're about 5 minutes and 20 left in the second, and we still have not seen another bucket. So again, now he tries to take this ridiculous step back three. These are just shots that do not work. And with poor shot selection and playmaking at times, it doesn't quite seem to translate into the postseason. I think it's become evidently clear that Darius Garland cannot be the number 2 option on a championship level team, which a lot of us thought the Cleveland Cavaliers were. But yet again, he's not the only one free from blame in this lack of meeting expectations. We need to talk about Jared Allen, who in Game 5, the closeout game, the game that determined your series, he could only play 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. With Allen, his offense is just so limited. If it's not right at the rim, it's not going to work. Just look at stuff like this, for example. Strus will kick it right back out to Allen, who obviously is going to get the easy putback. But either way, what Allen does is just so limited. And there's a reason you notice stuff like what I talked about with Garland. Notice they don't cut off this, drop pass action. And because they don't, they just go, for the easy push shot. That is something that NBA teams are going to be able to go, oh, okay, let's limit that for next game. Let's not allow this to happen as often. So now the rim pressure is greatly deterred because, Allen's not going to be able to get the ball, handle it himself. So now you have an offensive liability basically that can't create for himself and can only create off of lob passes or bounce passes going downhill by others. That's a great offensive limit. However, the biggest disappointment and the biggest reason that this team never met their expectations is because at the end of the day, this went from an offense that anybody on any given night could go off to becoming Donovan Mitchell, take the basketball. Can you please save us? Because we all don't want to shoot. And at the end of the day, that is only going to get you so far when an opposing offense and defense can then just easily key in on you. And while you are the only guy giving that 150% effort, that is only going to get you so far. Just ask Giannis Antetokounmpo. Just ask Nikola Jokic after this Game 5. There is only so much one man can do against an actual well-oiled machine of a team. And honestly, I think everyone thought that's what the Cavs were. That this offense, any given night, Strus could go off for you. Garland could go off for you. Mitchell's going to give you what he's going to give you. Mobley can start to hit. But in the end, they basically said, if it's not Donovan Mitchell, it ain't going. So let's just look at what Donovan Mitchell was basically, burdened with to try and keep this Cavs team competitive in the 5-game series. They do a great job getting the roll, and Mitchell did an excellent job of starting to go downhill, right? And I think that's where everything changed, was when Mitchell stopped settling for those threes that he was taking like in Game 1 and started fighting, being aggressive, right? Does a great job getting Ben Shepherd off, getting the and one. Just look at the aggression, right? Just one more time. Rolls downhill. He then goes in spins around, creates that separation, waits for Shepard to come back, because at that point, right, he can draw the foul and then get the and one to try and help build their lead. Again, that is all without just about anybody else touching the basketball, because Donovan Mitchell is being asked to will the team because nobody else is really ready or wanting to shoot. But just look at that box score. Like, when you're knowing that's an elimination game, you need to give it all 150% that you can, because you want to win. It's just frankly unacceptable otherwise. And again, this is all happening because Mitchell has to dribble the air out of the ball because nobody else wants to do anything or can create for themselves readily enough that things are just going to start to get ugly. So Donovan Mitchell, he tried. I'm just going to be honest. Like, he gave that team all he could to try and meet their expectations, to try and make the conference finals. And in the end, there's only so much one man can do. There's only so much that one guy who wants to rise and meet those expectations can do. And that is because, in the end, the Cleveland Cavaliers were soft. They tapped out when it mattered the most. And Donovan Mitchell was the only guy who said, what the hell are we all doing? And why aren't we fighting? So in the end, in a 64-win season, a dominant regular season performance, it turned out that, quite frankly, the Cavaliers were not cut of that contender cloth. And the question really is, will they ever be? Is Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and Donovan Mitchell enough to try and legitimately compete for a championship? I'm not sure. I think, quite frankly, that something will have to change for this front office, because the time is now. Giannis might be on the way out. Jason Tatum, God bless him, is going to most likely miss the entirety of next year. Your time to strike is right now. If you try and just say, oh, well, people got hurt, so let's run it back, that's fine. But if you run into another second round exit, I don't know what more to say than you only have yourself to blame. So in the end, the expectations crumbled this team. So let me know what you guys think down below. So as always, guys, this was Mr. No Hoops. I really appreciate all the love you guys are showing these new kind of content videos. Trying to do more of this kind of stuff. The off season, we're going to get super experimental. So let me know what you guys think down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought of the Cavs this year. And as always, this was Mr. No Hoops. Peace out.